Hello, everybody. It is time for the Monday Morning Analyst here on this, I don't know, was it 9th, 8th, something like that? I don't even really know. Oh, wait, I think it's the 9th. Hope you guys are doing well. Appreciate everyone who tuned in last week. I think the Monday Morning Analyst for the Rousey versus Nunes fight is like the fourth most watched Monday Morning Analyst ever, so really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Can't say how much that makes me happy that you guys found some value in that. So hopefully you'll find some value in the one today. So normally we have 3 parts to this podcast, and we will today, but there is no reason to do the first part as normal as there were no events over the weekend. So here's what we're going to do. I had promised you guys a Garbrandt versus Cruz breakdown. I may still do them, but I don't even know what the point is because shout-outs to BJJ Scout. If you guys haven't seen his post Garbrandt Cruz breakdown, go check it out. It's really amazing. I don't think I can do a better job than that. So go watch his, because his is really, really strong. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? But I had also promised you from 206 a Cerrone breakdown, a Cerrone kicking breakdown. But what I noticed in breaking down the fight was, one of the problems with the Monday Morning Analyst is I like to react to what happened over the weekend, but it's hard to do a longitudinal study because there's not enough time. I got to go and figure out what happened at this event. I got to watch this fight. And when there's no fights over a weekend, I get a chance to take a step back a little bit. So here's what I did. We do go over the UFC 206 Matt Brown versus Donald Cerrone fight. But what we also do is we look at 3 other fights he had where he won via head kick KO in different ways. Why are we doing that? The reason why is because we just got to give Donald Cerrone all the credit in the world, right? He's not just doing amazing things and winning and doing it in 2 weight classes and all those kinds of things. But I thought another YouTuber, also a world-famous coach, Faraz Zahabi made a great point about Ronda Rousey last week, which was that if you watch his post-fight breakdown as well, he doesn't look at tape, but he makes some comments. And what he says is something that's so true, so astute, so smart. She's not a natural kicker. Doesn't mean you can't get better at kicking. Doesn't mean there's never a case to kick. But it doesn't come natural. It's not some kind of thing that they've really got down. It doesn't come easy to them. And we talked about that a little bit on our Monday Morning Analyst. She would throw that push kick. It'd be ill-timed. It wouldn't stick all the way through, and she wouldn't move at the end of it. So she was getting torched by Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes read right through it the whole time. Donald Cerrone is a natural kicker. He's a very natural kicker. He's so good at it. And what I want you to pay attention to in this video, and we'll break down the slides here in just a second. I won't go through all 4 fights very heavily. In fact, 2 of them I just look at the very end of them. But what you see from Donald Cerrone is a couple of things. Number one, I don't think he's a good striker with his hands, clearly. He's put guys away with him. But where he really excels is with his feet. Why? Because he has, number one, very judicious use of his kicks, right? He doesn't throw things and get caught a lot at the end of them, hardly at all. Sometimes he will. It's inevitable you're going to get caught if you throw enough of them. But if you'll notice, he doesn't throw inside cut kicks very much because he thinks it'll leave him in a position to get countered, and it can if you're not very careful with it. And we'll talk about that a little bit later through the slides. He mostly throws outside leg kicks, body kicks as teeps, or body kicks and then head kick setups, right? If you notice, every time he throws a kick, he's not really in a space to be countered. Very, very incredible. So he has judicious use, and yet he's throwing head kicks and he's throwing, all kinds of things that would be considered high risk or at the kind of offense you throw that carries some sort of associated risk with it, and he does it so fast, so precisely. So explosively, so I mean, it's incredible to watch his kicking game. But I guess what I really want to point out as we look at these slides here is the thing that really stands out to me. He can make quick, reactive decisions in the middle of a fight, right? He can see an opening and act on it. He can set things up over the course of a fight, right? Invest in something over the course of a round, maybe 2, maybe even 3, and then finally hit it home. He can do that too. And what he can do is recognize opportunities not merely to react, but to follow a game plan previously. I was able to talk to some of his coaches to get some insight onto one of their fights, in particular the Story fight. And what you're going to see is that combo that he finishes with, that was a rehearsed combo that they had practiced because they had seen something on tape that they felt Story would be open for. So he can do it all. He can kick from the left. He can kick from the right. He can set up in an instant. which you'll see a few times in this, and he can set up over the course of a fight. He can identify an opening and then not merely react in the moment to it, but bring to bear the things he had been practicing. He is one of the best kickers, truly, in all of mixed martial arts. I don't think we appreciate it enough because I guess, he doesn't do the Jose Aldo thing where he just hammers your leg all the time and stop you that way. So for some reason, we think of like great kickers as, Edson Barboza, who can finish you with a wheel kick, but also sort of invest in these heavy leg kicks. And he does invest in leg kicks too. It's not something he can't do. But for some reason, we talk about Donald Cerrone's kicks as only being, or we talk about his game as somehow being not deficient in a way, but I don't think we give it the proper due because while he has these tremendous head kick KOs, we don't really recognize the wider arsenal that's really at play here. And I think when you look at these slides here, which we're going to look at in just a moment now, you're going to see he can do it all. He can do it all. And he stays safe while doing it. It's a really amazing thing to watch. So, without further ado, let's look at 4 fights. His fight against Jon Makdessi, his fight against Rick Story, his fight against Adriano Martins, and then his fight ultimately against Matt Brown from UFC 206 that took place most recently. Without further ado, let's take a look at these slides. So I've picked 4 fights. Maybe you could have picked some other ones, but these are the ones I picked. I thought it was 4 great examples of the kinds of things Donald Cerrone can do with that lead head kick, the left leg head kick. Because he stands basically, he'll switch stances on occasion, but he's basically an orthodox fighter. But that left leg high kick, the left leg head kick there is just incredible. And he can do so much with it. Obviously, he can do more than just land the head kick with that leg. We already talked about his natural ability here. But let's look at some of the things he's been able to do in a fight. So this is from UFC 187, I believe. This is Jon Makdessi. Now, I'm not going to break down all these fights. Sometimes I'm just going to show you at the end what he's able to do. Sometimes he's able to set things up over the course of a fight. Sometimes he just has incredible reactive ability with this. One of the things that made Jose Aldo amazing in his prime was he wasn't just merely a good athlete, of course, but he had great reactive decision-making. How quickly can you make a decision to try something, to see an opening, to act on an opening, and then affect change in a fight? And you're going to see that Donald Cerrone is really good with that, with his kicks. Kicks to the body, kicks to the head, putting them together. He's not all necessarily that great with his hands. His hands are a little bit slower, actually. We talked about how fast his kicking was. His hands are a little bit slower, which is why you see guys kind of piece him up a little bit when they can get inside that kicking range. But the interesting thing about Donald Cerrone is he takes risks with his kicks, but he never really takes too many risks. Like, he always keeps himself in good position to not be countered. He's really defensively responsible with them. And again, what you're going to see here in this Makdessi fight is he can make really smart, quick decisions. So watch this one. Not a whole lot to break down here. He had noticed that Makdessi, and look, and if you mask your kicks with your punches, right? You barrel forward with a 1, 2, 3, then you throw a kick. The kick has a much better chance of landing. Similar kind of thing here. He actually kicks to the inside leg of Makdessi, the left one. You can see it right here. Makdessi reaches. So what does Cerrone do? He just switch steps. He goes to the legs, brings the leg back down to the ground, almost like a touch and go kind of deadlift rep, and then goes right back up top to the jaw. Boom, in super quick succession. Watch it again. Inside to the leg here. Makdessi kind of reaches down to kind of grab it, to kind of block a little bit. You're going to see Cerrone push with that left hand. Because what he's going to do is, 1, he's going to measure. 2, he's going to push the head into the space that he wants it to go. The leg comes back down, just touches for a second so he can reset that switch step. Boom, right up top to the noggin. So in super quick succession, this happens right back to back. It goes kick, kick, that fast. Again, the slides won't necessarily give you the sense of the urgency with which that landed, but that's what happens here. This is a very brief introduction to what he can do. I just want to show you this was not something he'd been doing a lot throughout the course of this fight. He just did it on a whim because he saw an opening. He took it, and you can see the kind of dexterity and speed and accuracy that he has with those kinds of kicks. Pretty amazing by Donald Cerrone. So here's the fight against Rick Story. This was from UFC 202 back in August of 2016. I actually spoke to some of Cerrone's coaches about this one, and what they had noticed ahead of time was Story's really good about defense when he's in boxing range, but the further you can put him at kicking range, his defense gets worse. His his guard protecting his chin, protecting his body. He gets a little lax with it. And that's what they had noticed. That's what they had game planned around. This combination that Cerrone hits, he had been practicing. Now, the key to it was, though, ending with that kick, because they figured if they could get a blitz going, a counter blitz going, and then push Story out of range or even backwards a little bit, his defense would be wide open, wouldn't be there for the kick. So what you see here is Story jabs here, misses, just barely misses too. Cowboy steps a little bit out of range, counters with a jab. This was a prepared combination. Cerrone loves, you'll see him through all his fights, he loves to counter with a cross to the body. Likes to mix it up that way. Boom. Now, he might do it first sometimes and then come back upstairs, but this is a common use of, this is a common punch that Cerrone goes back to all the time. In this particular case, he countered with a jab, countered with a cross to the body, comes back upstairs with like a sort of like a hook here, and then you'll notice, look at the defense of Cerrone, the defense of Story, it's wide open. They were absolutely right. They knew his defense would be not quite there, Rick Story's, as he got out to kickboxing range, and Cerrone ate him up for it. You saw it right there. One more time, let's go through this. This, again, a prepared combination based off what? This is where, like, great coaching and knowing what your athlete can do and what he's good at really pays dividends. Again, Story jabs, Cerrone counters with a left straight of his own. This is also a measuring tool for him. Changes levels, goes to the body, comes back upstairs. This is a prepared combination, and the whole thing was centered on when we get him at a certain range, his defense just kind of goes away. Boom. Now, this case, it's a right-legged head kick, but typically the one that you see Cerrone do so much damage with is with the left. But a great job. I just want to sort of show you here, this guy can prepare things. He can react, as you saw in the Makdessi fight, in the blink of an eye. Here's one where he sets everything up over the course of a fight. So here's a fight from 3 years ago. This is from January of 2014. This is Adriano Martins. What you're going to see in this fight is, number one, you almost never see in any fight, you almost never see Donald Cerrone throw with his right leg to the inside thigh, especially on a southpaw opponent. You never see him throw an inside leg kick. If you do, you'll see him throw a hand combination behind it, and even that's pretty rare. He really likes to stay on the outside with an outside leg kick or with a front kick on the opposite leg, right? Back leg, so he'll post on his left leg and use his right leg to push this guy out, especially in this case because he's a southpaw. But you never see him throw the inside one. Why? Because I think he feels like when he can get that, he can take a step to the outside and kick, or he can use the push kick, or eventually the head kick. His head's not in any kind of danger. Cerrone does kind of have head movement. He stays moving, but if you can get him freezing a little bit with some hand combinations, he can be caught. I think he knows that about himself. So again, I mentioned before, he is judicious with the kind of kicks he throws, even if he takes some risks sometimes, which is a hard balancing act to have. He can react in an instant, and he can prepare things ahead of time and then unleash them. Here's a case where he sets something up over the course of a round. So these are the kind of kicks he's going to throw. And these are not all the kicks he throws, but you get a good sense of them. Number one, throws that right leg body kick to a southpaw opponent, right? Keeps him backing up all the time. Gets him in nice range. You can see Cerrone's head nowhere close to be countered, okay? And this is the other one he's going to throw. By the way, he threw these usually within a couple seconds of each other. Boom, outside leg kick. And that kind of began to wear on Adriano Martins as the fight went on. So those are the two kinds of things he does in setup here, right? This is also part of his setup. You can see almost a square forward stance here. He loves to throw a jab here. He'll throw a jab, throw a jab, throw a jab. Then he'll sort of parry a shot away, right? Fake it a little bit here. Got Martins to react. Goes back to it, sticks the hand out, and then goes up the gut here again. So you'll see that jab is a big part of the kind of setups that Cerrone uses. He'll land it too. He'll jab, jab, jab. Like, he'll try to sting you with it a little bit, and then he'll throw it out of the way, use that to mask his switch steps sometimes to see if he can land something with that head kick. In this particular case, he goes back to the body. We're all still in the first minute here. Again, you see him sort of parry that lead hand away of Martins, and he goes to the outside of the thigh. right? Same kind of thing we had seen before. So you see him investing in getting Martins to expect certain things and react in certain ways. Here we are again. Let's see what Cowboy does, right? He just sort of throws it up top. Where's he going to go? He's going to go to the head here, right? All right, let's see what happens next. It was blocked. Here's another scenario where he kind of steps out at an angle a little bit here. I'm guessing he's going to throw either an outside leg kick or a body kick. Let's see which one it is. Boom, outside leg kick. See how far away he is from danger? So he's just setting up certain looks. And these are all landing, by the way. Martins just ate all these. All right, we keep going. Here's another one, kind of setting up here. Let's see where he goes. All right, steps to the outside. Let's see. Kind of has lead foot dominance. Reaching with that jab, that lead hand, goes back to the body. All right, let's watch again. Here he's counteracting sort of not a jab exactly from Martins, but like a reaching paw kind of thing. What does he do? Boom. Reactive, lands a shot to the gut. Now this is kind of the toes that slap, although I'm sure that hurts. You'll see this in the Matt Brown fight later. As a guy comes in, reaching into distance, and they're being a little bit, if they're jumping too far or they're being a little bit lazy with it, this counter shot to the body lands. Now, Cerrone does it in a bit of a different way against Brown, but because of stances, but that you get the idea. So now he's throwing leg kicks. He threw one kind of head kick up there, but he didn't really set it up. He goes back to the body again. So look at Martins reaching now. So what happens? Look at this particular instance. What's Cerrone going to do? He's going to step. He's going to throw the lead in this particular case from the right side. He's going to throw the lead hand out. It gets Martins to react, and it lands flush. Let me look at it from a better angle. Here we are. Look at this. Back in the orthodox stance. It's not going to be a left high kick, I don't believe. Right? It's the right high kick. Extends the lead hand here in this particular case because it's sort of the right side. Martins is expecting a body shot because he's been getting hit with this right leg up the gut so many times, plus that reactive one he'd been setting up off the middle. Boom. Goes right upstairs and lands. Martins' hands are super down because all that investment in the body work, over time, it all paid off in the end. And he goes crashing. Take another look at it. Here we are. In an orthodox stance. You might expect a switch step to come up this side, right? Nope. Sticks the hand out. Why? This is what he'd been doing on the cross. This is what he'd been doing a lot to set up the body kick, the front leg teep, or I should say the back leg teep. Martins puts his hands down, expecting it's going to land to the body, and Cerrone just catches him clean. Boom, look at that. Amazing. This is 3 years ago he did this. 3 years ago this month. And last but not least, let's take a look at the UFC 206 fight. I apologize for the quality of these photos. I didn't have a good, I couldn't get it on Fight Pass, so I don't know if the photos or slides are not as good. But this is interesting. Same kind of setup here. Where he's investing in this thing. He sees it all the way. This is like a mix, actually, I should say, which is he gets the reactive decision-making. That is so important, right? Which you'll see later. But he's also setting things up over time, and he sees something land and he goes back to it. If something's working in a fight, keep doing it. So this just sort of shows the ability to invest in a kicking game that keeps you safe, that is devastating, that when you're like Donald Cerrone, it's quick. We talked about that before. The great decision-making in the final moments. So, like, there's investment here, there's payoff here, and then there's quick reaction. It's like a mix of everything. So let's go through these slides here if we can. Here they are. They're set up. What's Cerrone going to do? He kind of sort of lowers his stance a little bit, right? Steps through and kicks to the outside leg. Remember, he doesn't really go in those inside cut kicks. He doesn't seem to like those. I think he feels like he gets countered there. Here his head's at safe distance, right? Here's another one. We're still 15 seconds into the fight, right? Sets up, throws to the body. Why would he want to go to the body? You guys know both these guys had issues with the body, right? And you'll see why this pays off in just a second. So now he's gone to the body. We're now like 40 seconds into this. Cerrone tries, or I should say Matt Brown tries to sort of blitz and close distance at once. Cerrone catches him right in the middle again. Boom. This is a reactive one off that left leg. Just catches him coming in. You can see it's a bit of a different stance. Although it's a southpaw in this is orthodox in this case, which is why he's getting with the left leg, but you get the idea. All right, here they come. This is now just a few seconds later. What's Cerrone going to do? He's going to wait. Matt Brown kind of lowers his stance a little bit, changing levels. And what does Cerrone do? Cerrone greets him super fast. It's not merely that Cerrone has a quick switch step and quick hips, although that's true too. The speed of his kicks is incredible. He gets him up there super fast. The left one more so, in my opinion, than the right one. The right one he has to sort of set up a little bit and catch you and invest in it. But the left one he can just flick up there. He gets his stance switch so quick. And then so he enables him to throw that so fast. Really incredible stuff by Donald Cerrone. So this one blocked, but you can see already he's investing in it. Why? He had gone to the body. It looked like Matt Brown was kind of covering on the ribs. He just flicks it up to see if something can happen with it and nearly caught him with it. All right? Same round, just about a minute later. Here comes Cerrone. Boom, to the outside leg kick, setting everything up. Remember, he doesn't seem to go inside too much, and if he does, he protects himself. Here we are again. I think this is where he actually does go inside. Yep. So look at the cut kick, and you can see he's able to be countered here if he's not careful. So what does he do? Cerrone is on the march. Brown's covering up, doesn't know if that kick's going to come up the middle. So Cerrone fires a left as that left foot comes back down, fires a right, and then fires another left. Now you may say, well, those punches missed, and they did, but the point being was he just didn't throw it and come back to a stance. He threw it and followed it with a series of punches to get Matt Brown on the defensive, to get him backing up, to make sure he stayed safe. And hey, if you land a shot, you land a shot. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is what I mean when I say he has a judicious use of kicks. You know, he throws head kicks all the time, and people think that's risky and that's wild. It's not for him. It's well within his repertoire, within his wheelhouse, and if he throws things where he feels like he can be countered, he makes sure he covers it up with another series of offensive attacks to keep him safe. This is what I mean when I say he's judicious, right? Here's another one. Brown comes inside, tries to catch him on the belt line, goes a little bit closer to the leg here, but it's the same thing where Brown was blitzing before. Here's another one. Cerrone switching stances. Not switching stances, but sort of winding up, I should say. Right? Outside leg kick. You can see what he's throwing here. I'm not going to get every leg kick or every kick generally, but you're going to get the idea of what he's been setting up this whole time. Here comes another one. Fires the jab. Let's see what happens as Brown lowers his level. Does it again, because let's go back to the time here. 218. Fires it. Catches him going down. Fires it again. You see Brown bring his hands up to parry it away. Boom. Catches him at the end of it. And when I say bring his hands up, I don't mean bring his hands up to defend, just to reach almost, it's up, but it's out away from his face because he's pushing it away. See, there's nothing covering it. It's up and away, and catches him clean with it. Left leg this time. This is the one that's super quick in my opinion. All right, here we go. This is now the second round. Second round was a little bit better for Matt Brown, as you'll recall, but just a couple things to pay attention to. Here we are setting up about a second later. What happens? Let's follow through. Cerrone kind of takes a step forward, right? Flashes the jab. You can see him switching steps here. And look how quick it happens too, by the way. Right, 247. 247, he's bringing his feet. He's going to step out. Boom. Look at that. Look how on the balls of his feet. I mean, head super far away, arm extended. Look at this. Catches him again coming up because Brown thinks it's going to come to the body. Brown can't tell where some of these kicks are going to go. I think it's not merely the speed of his footwork underneath or the actual dexterity he shows, but I think he also camouflages the knee position well. He also uses his eyes to fake out at different intervals. Something else to pay attention to when you're thinking about Cerrone in his future fights. He's really good at that. Right? Catches him, follows him up with another right hand, and that sends Matt Brown down. Now here is the third and final round. This is where he begins to close the show. He's been having success finding a home for this left high kick, flicking it behind the jab, right? It's been really, really good for him. And catching Brown coming in across the belt line when he needed to. So he throws the cross in this particular case. Let's see what happens. Right? Throws the outside kick. So now he's going back low again. Right? There's another shot of it. They back up. They circle away. Here is Cerrone. What's Cerrone going to see? He sets up. You're going to see Matt Brown come in and crouch. Why? Because he's going to throw a body shot. What you're also going to see is look closely. Look where Cerrone is. Look where Matt Brown is. Matt Brown is not merely going to go in diagonally. He's actually going to fade right and then come inside. He's going to lower his level. Watch. Comes inside and lowers his level. What is Cerrone going to do? Cerrone is going to immediately react and catch him clean. He's going to push off with the jab here. and he's going to bring his head into position, and he's going to crack him clean. How does this happen? Boom, there he goes, collapsing to the mat. All right, let's take another look at it. Watch what he does. This is from the back angle. The first one we saw was from over here. Cerrone waits, kind of leans off center, parries the shot away, throws his own jab up, sort of, just kind of a hand. It's not exactly a jab because there's no Matt Brown there. Matt Brown's ducking and eats it clean. And you might say, how did this happen? If you watch this in real time, it's reactive decision making. Remember how he was able to greet Matt Brown as he came in close and tag him across the belt line? This is the same kind of thing. Remember Jon Makdessi comes in, throws a kick to the leg, and immediately follows it with a high kick. The amazing part about the left leg head kick that Cerrone has off that switch step is it's so quick. He can find you, and Matt Brown is still ducking. Matt Brown didn't move slow. Matt Brown jabbed to the body, and before he could even right his posture, Cerrone greeted him with it. That's how quick it is. That's how good Donald Cerrone's reactive decision-making is. He catches him before he can even right his posture. And he wasn't rocked here. He's rocked with the kick now. But when he went for the jab to the body, he wasn't rocked. He wasn't rocked at all. He was fine. I'm sure he was tired and a little bit hurt from the fight itself, but he hadn't been bombed on at that point. Yeah, he was still in the fight, and it didn't matter because Cerrone was able to catch him super clean in space right there. Boom, saw it, reacted. When he was dropping in and coming in to get low, he was a sitting duck, either for jabs, you saw that previously in the fight, or for some kind of follow-up there. And his hands, let's go back and look at his hand position if we can. Right? You can see there's nothing covering him here. He's not jabbing while bringing his hand to his ear or hand to his jaw. Let's take another look at it from a different angle. Right? This is what Cerrone sees. Cerrone's looking at him, doing the Cerrone thing where he's kind of moving his head and kind of moving his shoulders, kind of moving his hands. Right? Matt Brown fades into this side to create a lane for that left hand. Cerrone kind of blocks it, eyes downfield, steps out, pushes the head in kind of a direction, but not a heavy push, not like a holding push, and then just cracks him. One more time. Look at the hand position. Look at the outside hand position of Brown. Brown comes in, steps. Cerrone sees it. Look at what Cerrone sees. This is what he sees. He sees a guy who's committed his weight this way, whose shot maybe landed or got parried, and whose backhand is not defending him at all. He switched steps. Look how fast it is. Brown's trying to get out of the way, but it's too late. Amazing. This is the magic of Donald Cerrone's kicking. He can make a reactive decision. He can set something up over the course of a fight. He can go left. He can go right. He can follow a game plan ahead of time. He can identify openings. I think there probably are some great criticisms to make of the boxing of Donald Cerrone maybe at times. I don't think it's his strongest weapon. I don't mean he's bad at it, but it's not the best thing he does. But his kicking game is, and in fairness to him, he dropped Patrick Cote with a series of punches. So it's quite good. But what I mean to say is what's special about the striking of Donald Cerrone? It is the dexterity of his striking. It's the speed of his footwork. It's his timing. It's his accuracy. It's his reactive decision-making. It's ability to follow a game plan. It's all those things. His kicking game is phenomenal. Great job by Donald Cerrone. Can't wait to see what he does at UFC on Fox at the end of this month. And last but not least, we take a look at what's coming up in the week ahead. Nothing too crazy this time except, the return of BJ Penn to the UFC. UFC Fight Night 103, also known as UFC Fight Night Rodriguez versus Penn. This will take place at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. On the card, here it goes. Not a great card, but we'll see. By the way, this is going to be on the 15th, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a Sunday, right? I believe it's a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, so pay attention to that. Let's see. Yes, it's a Sunday. Okay, here's who's on the card. Yair Rodriguez taking on BJ Penn. That's your main event. On the main card, it's only a 4-fight main card. Joe Lauzon versus Marcin Held. Court McGee takes on Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders makes his return to the UFC. Frankie Saenz versus Augusto Tanquinho Mendez, I believe. Then on the preliminary Fox Sports 1 card, John Moraga taking on Sergio Pettis. Alexei Oleinik taking on Victor Pesta. Alex White versus Tony Martin, Walt Harris versus Chase Sherman, and then a 4-fight preliminary card. Jocelyn Jones-Leibarger takes on the girlfriend of Amanda Nunes, Nina Ansaroff. Devin Powell versus Drakkar Klose. Joaquim Christensen takes on Bohan Mihaljevic, whatever the hell you pronounce his name. And then Dmitry Smoliakov, I'm good at this, takes on Cyril Asker. Okay, only Ansaroff and Jones-Leibarger have Wikipedia entries. Interesting. So there you go. We will probably take a look at the BJ Penn fight depending on what happens, but I guess we'll have to go and see after those results are in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share it, comment, do whatever you like. Again, thank you so much for watching last week and making it a big success. I really appreciate it. Congrats to Donald Cerrone and all his success. And until next time, guys, enjoy the fights.